WWE fans, buckle up. Because what just went down on Monday Night Raw may very well go down as one of the most defining moments in modern wrestling history. The very foundation of the Bloodline, long thought unbreakable, now shows cracks so deep they can't be ignored anymore. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the head of the table, reached out to his cousin, Jey Uso, the reigning world heavyweight champion, and for the first time ever, Jey didn't just hesitate or waver. He outright denied Roman. Not with words, not with a fight, but with silence so loud it shook the WWE universe to its core. This wasn't just a backstage conversation. It was a seismic shift in the narrative of the Bloodline, a fracture in the family, and a declaration from Jey Uso that his time in the shadows is over. Today, we're breaking down every moment, every glance, and every implication. Because what happened on Raw isn't just a moment, it's a movement. Setting the stage, the history of the Bloodline and Roman's control. To truly grasp the magnitude of this moment, we have to rewind and understand what the Bloodline represents. Roman Reigns built his empire not just through dominance in the ring, but by emotionally holding his family hostage, not physically, but with loyalty and identity. Roman didn't simply demand allegiance, he owned the loyalty of his cousins, his brothers. He made them extensions of his legacy, soldiers in his war. Jey Uso wasn't always the confident world heavyweight champion you see today. For years, he was Roman's enforcer, his right-hand man, a man fighting for a place at the table that always felt just out of reach. Every beatdown, every mental game, every public humiliation was part of Roman's master plan. To break Jey down, rebuild him in his image, and keep the Bloodline, his bloodline, intact and unchallenged. Monday Night Raw, the backstage moment that shook WWE. Fast forward to Monday Night Raw, and things look different. No crowd, no cameras, no Paul Heyman to soften the blow. Just Roman and Jey in a rare private conversation, a moment so raw, it felt like watching a family therapy session from hell. Roman said words nobody saw coming, "I've got your back against Seth." On paper, it sounds like support, like the tribal chief extending an olive branch in the face of a mutual enemy, Seth Rollins. But WWE fans know better. Roman Reigns doesn't do kindness. He doesn't build alliances out of friendship or respect. He builds them through control, power, and dominance. Jey Uso, standing there with the World Heavyweight Championship shining on his waist, held something he never had before, real power. And with it, a choice. The choice to stay loyal, or to break free. What happened next wasn't a roar, a yell, or a confrontation. It was silence. Jey turned his back on Roman, not with words, but with the coldest rejection possible. The meaning of Jey's silence, a new era begins. Jey Uso's silence screamed louder than any promo could. It spoke volumes about his transformation from a man who used to scream, "Waiiti," and follow orders, to a champion who's written his own story. This was more than a rejection. It was a rebellion against the pain, the manipulation, and the control that had defined his career. Jey isn't the same man who once crumbled under Roman's pressure. He's a champion forged in fire, standing tall on his own merit, and he's done being the shadow of the tribal chief. The aftershock, Braun Breaker's brutal ambush. Just when you thought the tension couldn't get any thicker, WWE threw another bombshell. Out of nowhere, Braun Breaker, the human wrecking ball, charged through the backstage area like a force of nature. Both Roman and Jey were blindsided, taken down by a vicious, unprovoked attack. No warning. No words exchanged. Just brutal fists and destruction. Security rushed to intervene, but the damage was done. Braun stood tall, towering over two of WWE's most elite stars, sending a message loud and clear: the old guard is no longer untouchable. What does this mean for the Bloodline, WWE, and the future? The implications of that moment ripple far beyond Raw's backstage. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the supposed indestructible powerhouse, is vulnerable. Jey Uso, for all his pride and momentum, is now a hunted champion, a man marked by defiance. The wolves are circling, Seth Rollins is lurking, plotting his next move. Logan Paul's social media mind games keep the spotlight flickering wildly. And Braun Breaker? He just kicked down the door and announced himself as a dominant force with no allegiance to history or legacy. This is a new era in WWE, where loyalty is questioned, family bonds fracture, and every champion must fight to survive not just in the ring, but in the chaos backstage. The emotional weight behind Jey's decision. To understand the true magnitude of Jey Uso's silent refusal, we have to rewind to the emotional scars Roman left behind. Roman Reigns didn't just ask for loyalty, he demanded identity. The Bloodline was more than a faction, it was a way of life, a code carved into every family member's soul. Roman's leadership was absolute. His rule, unchallenged. His expectations, unforgiving. Jey, throughout his career, has lived in Roman's shadow, from early tag team days with his brother Jimmy Uso, to being thrust into the single spotlight as Roman's enforcer. Every victory, every setback was framed through the lens of Roman's approval or disappointment. Remember the moments when Jey was broken down in the ring, forced to pledge allegiance with tears in his eyes? Those weren't just storylines, those were the cracks forming in a man who was desperate to be more than just Roman's cousin. But now Jey stands as the World Heavyweight Champion, wearing his own crown. And that crown isn't just a symbol of victory, it's a symbol of freedom. Roman's calculated play, was the offer genuine? When Roman said, "I've got your back against Seth," was he truly offering support? Or was it a strategic move to regain control? Roman Reigns is a master strategist. His every word is layered with meaning. To the casual viewer, it may have seemed like an olive branch. But for anyone who's followed this saga closely, Roman's words were a test, a subtle attempt to pull Jey back under his wing. Roman doesn't do alliances without strings. He builds loyalty by reminding you who holds the power, who's in control. Jey's rejection of that offer wasn't just about standing up to Seth Rollins, it was about standing up to Roman himself. Saying, "I'm not your pawn anymore." So, what's next for Jey Uso? For Roman Reigns? For the Bloodline? Jey's silent refusal is the loudest statement WWE's seen in years. It signals a star who's ready to step out of the shadow and carve his own path. Roman's grip on the Bloodline is slipping, and the fallout is only beginning. And Braun Breaker? He's the wild card who could change the entire landscape. Fans, get ready, because the storylines, the rivalries, and the battles are about to reach a new level of intensity. If you loved this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe for all the latest WWE updates, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think will come out on top? Is this the end of the Bloodline as we know it? Let's talk. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.